And I think that's where this idea that you have of creating this new team of fuck wearing someone else's jersey, I'm gonna fucking make the jerseys, right? And creating a collective of the most badass directors, content creator, whatever you want to call it, right? The guys that
Yeah.
can go out and get a bunch of shit done. And really taking ownership back of this is how it's done. If you want to be elite in how your brand and visuals and aesthetic is viewed, this is how it's done. If you want to go keep hiring lowest hanging fruit, you know, to get the job
Yeah.
done, and there's no
Jesus.
consistency, there's no cohesiveness, there's no brand to what's going on, that's fine. But eventually, like, cream rises to the top. And
You think
and
so?
Dude,
You don't think we're in a good enough
No,
music
no.
good enough category?
No, look at all you have to do is look at the biggest acts in each format and what they're doing. Don't pay attention to anything else that's happening, right? Look at what Tanner Gallagher and Hardy are doing. That's setting the tone for what road content, exclusive backstage, like lifestyle content, what that should look like. That's it. That's what's going to be emulated now. So anything else that's happening that's cookie cutter, that will become the cookie cutter bullshit everybody's trying to emulate. But what I'm saying is, fuck that. Do what they did authentically and find your own brand. And the only way that happens is with a creative mind and a visionary that can actually fucking execute and make it happen and set out the game plan.
Do you think, okay, so with that kind of importance that you just put on that creative mind,
Yeah.
should there be any kind of ownership
Yeah.
of the content created?
In a perfect world, I think management would be a triangle.
Yeah.
I think you would have the way it exists right now, you would have your bird's eye view, Rolodex, connection, like the main guy, right? That like steers the ship, sees everything from the top down. You got your day to day that's going to keep everything in line. But I think a third component of management should be the creative component. There's so much that comes into an artist's career now that has to do with branding, visuals, and deliverables, right?
Yeah.
Any deal that Lee does at this point, whether it be Bojangles or Yingling or Window World or Costa's sunglasses, like
Sure.
that deal is contingent upon deliverables that are almost always visual. Sometimes it's a show, a private
Sure.
show. Sometimes it's a meet and greet thing, blah, blah, blah. But most times it's going to be some sort of visual, whether it be commercial or liners or branded component on Instagram or whatever. There needs to be an understanding between the business side of that transaction and what it takes to execute the creative
Yes.
side of
Yes.
the deliverables.
Yes.
And I think that gets lost in translation a lot of times. And I think it's important that as an artist, when you're protecting your brand and you're doing these brand deals, that you have someone in-house that even if they're not going to run the production of the commercial, they're at least there as a voice
Sure.
representing you in
Yeah.
the process of anything being
Yes.
created.
Yes. And they did for, oh my God, they did for Chris Stapleton on
Yeah.
Ram. Oh my Lord.
You've
yes.
dealt with it a million times. How many
Yes.
times have we been on set and they fly in, hey,
sure.
we got this brand that's giving us $5,000, blah, blah, blah. Well, it didn't go to our budget.
And
so.
that's something that I have battled. It's like, okay, so if I'm a commercial director and you get X a day,
Right.
but yet you're doing a music video, but because the budget, the record label and the team doesn't have the budget to afford the creative,
Right.
we want to align it with some other sponsor
Yep.
that can offset the money.
It happens all the time in music videos, by
happens
the way.
all the time, but yet that is merely for the team creating or the above the line,
Right.
who are creating those visuals, who are moving mountains to make that happen, which is a punch list of shots that have to happen by a contract to adhere to those guidelines of that advertising.
They tell you how many seconds it has to be
Yes.
in frame, where in
Boom,
frame,
logo,
what
this-
lensing.
Yes, everything.
It's insane.
To not have any compensation.
No.
Go back to the creative, the director, the producer, whomever at the production company, from making it happen. But the only thing that is told back to us is, no, now you are privileged to do the job because now they
Right.
can afford you.
Yeah, no, you not only do we have to disrupt the treatment you submitted by inserting something that doesn't fit into anything you've written, but you're not going to monetarily benefit from this. This is just so we can get the job done.
And afford you.
Right. I have a worse story. Like, and not to throw anyone under the bus, this is just the way the business works,
Sure.
right? And this is why anybody up and coming right now, learn copyright law, learn how to protect your intellectual property. Like, these are things you don't learn it the hard way, but on a music video for a label, the label is putting up the budget, right? They own the footage. We sign what's called a work for hire agreement, right? So we say, hey, we're going to do the job for this amount, but we relinquish any ownership of the footage we shot. It is owned by the entity that is paying for the production, okay? So I did a video for Lee called More Beer. Me and Justin Clough co-directed it. One of my favorite videos of all time. It's awesome, but it was like pulling teeth because it wasn't for a single. So, you know, like budgets get pretty tight when it's not going to radio. So half the budget, I'm not going to give out numbers because I don't want to, but half the budget was put up by the label and half the budget was put up by Yuengling, right? And I mean, we essentially shot a Yuengling commercial. It was for More Beer. Go watch the video.
Right out of the gates.
Fucking awesome. It's a fucking awesome video. I love it so much. But it wasn't a single, so, you know, no one's seen it. But anyway, so we go in, we crush the job. It is not a big budget, and we like really crushed it. I'm so proud of that video. I'm watching PGA Tour Championships like 6-7 months later, and and commercial break comes on, and it's the music video that Justin and I directed, like our creative, our idea, like on a commercial, little QR code for Yuengling, blah blah blah, and then it became a Yuengling commercial. The music video became a Yuengling commercial. I am aware, because I know how this shit works, that those rights had to be purchased, right? Like Yuengling had to purchase the rights to that footage to use in a commercial from the person that owned the footage, which was the record label that we signed a work for hire for. But it's like, holy shit, shot a Yuengling commercial for, and I mean, I think I cut my director's fee on that video to make it work. You know what I mean?
And the label made double. Well, not double. They made their money back.